All right. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I appreciate you all taking time out of your very busy school schedules to spend a little more time with us here as a part of the SHLA program cohort. Good afternoon. My name is Marquita Riley. I'm the Student Programs Coordinator for SWE and your DJ on the ones and twos, might I add. Thank you to everyone for joining us on this live learning opportunity, exploring career pathways with a panel of our SWE partners. First, we would love to thank and appreciate our following sponsors for their generous support of this program: Lockheed Martin Corporation, Cisco Systems, Motorola Solutions, and General Motors. On deck today, we want to make sure that we get through some of the other sessions so you guys are aware of what's coming up. So what we have for tomorrow is leading from the passenger seat, practicing leadership skills at every level with Lanita hosting. Of course, following that session, we have SWE Next Connect, leadership skills for college. And coming up after that, which will close us out for the week, on October 23rd, we'll have networking with fellow Sheilas, reflect and recap. Then we'll kind of take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back again together on Thursday, November 12th, for our Sheila graduation ceremony. And for those of you all who are SWE Next We20 award winners, woohoo, you guys will get a pizza party. So just be aware of what's coming up. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to talk a little bit more about what you should be prepared to do for this session. We're going to talk a little bit about our learning outcomes. After you attend this session, we are hoping that you'll be able to recognize various engineering and STEM disciplines, recognize day-to-day activities of various types of engineers and technologists, recognize various STEM fields of study, and then recognize interests that different engineers and technologists have. So I want to take this time to see if you all are able to give us a good answer on this. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll and ask you, would you rather write a 10-page paper or give a 10-minute presentation? Ooh, said 10-minute presentation right off back, huh? Y'all not hearing us with the 10-page paper, huh? I feel you. Those days were awful.
I have a piece of paper that I'm writing the outline for right now. It's not fun.
Sheesh, let's share these results. So most of you all would prefer a 10-minute presentation. And really, you kind of get the jitters out. Once it's done, it's done. Sometimes it's better. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this one. And I'm going to ask this of our lovely panel in just a little bit. I guess I'll ask this now. Let's just do that now, and we'll make sure to introduce them to you in just a bit. Panelists, what would you rather do? Would you rather write a 10-page paper or give a 10-minute presentation?
This is Ruth, and I would much rather do a 10-minute presentation. It could have been a 20-minute presentation. I would have picked that before a 10-page paper.
I get it. Tammy, what about you?
Oh, definitely the 10-minute presentation.
10-minute presentation. Risa, what would you think about this?
Yeah, definitely 10-minute presentation.
10 minutes. Okay. Who else do we have? We have Teresa. Which one would you prefer?
Presentation.
Everybody's all about that speaking life. And Jamie, what about you?
10-minute presentation.
10 minutes. See, we're all talkers. We all love to socialize. So why not just get up and get it done, right? Who wants to write a paper? All right. So I have another question for you guys. What do you think about this? Would you rather spend the whole school day on your favorite subject or only take your least favorite class for a few hours? Whew.
Everyone.
Jesus. Woo.
All
right, I'm good. Go ahead.
Sorry, while we're sharing it, does the panelists videos look okay? I spotlighted everyone.
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Thanks.
All right. So it looks like everybody would mostly like to spend the whole school day on your favorite subject. You know, you just don't get enough time. You know, it's 30 minutes, an hour, and they kick you out, and then you got to go to that boring class right after that. So I'm going to go ahead and pose this question again to our panelists, starting with Jamie. Which one would you prefer?
Spend the whole day on my favorite subject for sure.
Really? Okay. Ruth?
I would have to agree with everyone on the polling. I'd rather spend the whole day on my favorite subject.
Raisa, what would you think?
Well, I would rather only take my least favorite class for just a few hours.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Teresa?
Spend the whole day on my favorite subject.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Tammy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so definitely the whole day on the favorite subject. In fact, I would love to teach it all day, my favorite subject.
Really? Okay. Very nice. Okay, and I don't believe I forgot anybody. Everybody got covered from our panel, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. Great responses. Appreciate the feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and before we start with the get to know you for our panelists, I want to run through a few little last minute housekeeping items. Just so you know, you guys have been sent a note-taking handout. If you have not received it, just say I didn't get it in the chat, and we'll make sure to send a copy of that to you as well. It is also available in the Google Classroom. So if you want to just take some notes, write down some of your goals from this session, any additional resources that were shared, they will all there will all be sections in your note-taking handout. So you'll have that to keep from this session on. And again, you might want to record some of the panelists' responses because sometimes we forget as time goes on. So it might be fresh in your mind if you write it down. All participants will need to be muted unless you're speaking. Please make sure you use your nonverbal reactions if you have a question or something's going on and you need attention. We do have, in addition to myself, we have support from my colleague, Cameron Wagner, as well as Mary Zeiss, who is a part of our Student Programs Committee, who will also serve as support within the chat. If you still have questions technical wise or just in general, she'll be answering them in the chat as well. Again, make sure to keep your videos on if you can. Not an obligation whatsoever, totally understand that, but we will be taking pictures throughout the session. So just keep that in mind, that you want to have your best Colgate on, you know, give us a little Model S Tyra Banks running down the runway if you can every now and again. And I think that is all I have for you as far as housekeeping is concerned. The next thing I would like to go over before we start is that we're going to go ahead and give you an introduction to each of the panelists. Then we'll do a round table where each panelist will have the opportunity to answer prepared questions. And then we'll go ahead and wrap that up with the students being able to ask some questions at the end in the chat, or you might be able, if you feel willing and brave, to go ahead and unmute. You guys can ask your questions live towards the end. All right, so now it's time for you to get into our phenomenal panelists that we have this evening. I'm going to ask you all to introduce yourselves to our Sheilas and let them know what you're all about. Give them your name, your position, and maybe a little fun fact about yourself. I'm going to start with Tammy.
Okay, welcome ladies. I am Tammy McNeely. I'm with Lockheed Martin Aeronautics Company. Kind of a fun fact about me is I like to say that Lockheed actually bought me a car because we took some award money that they gave me for, you know, special recognition, and I bought a raffle ticket and I won a car.
Wow.
So,
okay.
I'm
definitely with that.
Yeah. And I'm what they call a fellow with the corporation. And what that is, it's one of the highest technical ranks. So, you know, if you think about, you know, VPs and presidents, the fellows are the equivalent on the technical side. So it's kind of that same level of prestige and honor. It's just on the technical piece of it.
Very nice. Jamie?
Hi, everyone. Jamie Hamilton. I work for General Motors. And an interesting fact about me, a few years ago, I got to go down to the Bowling Green Corvette plant and actually work on the line and help build some Corvettes. That was pretty fun. My official title is computer aided engineer. I do a lot of computer analysis, and I'm in between groups right now, but I will be doing noise and vibration soon.
Very nice. Raisa?
Hi everyone, my name is Raisa Gomez. My official title is Associate Technical Solutions Specialist. I work for Cisco. That is something like a pre-sales engineer. And a fun fact about me, I think, well, it might be that I love Harry Potter. So, well, that's it.
Very nice. Ruth?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruth Durbina. I am a project manager, more of an IT project manager. I work for Cisco Systems. And a fun fact about me, I am 1 out of 10 kids.
Ooh,
So big
I love
family.
it. Big
Yeah.
family. I love
Yeah.
that. Mama never goes hungry with 10 kids. Somebody's going to take care of the situation. Very nice. Teresa?
Hello, Teresa there. Fun fact about me that I have 2 jobs. I am a intelligence officer for the Navy Reserves. And then also I have a civilian job that I am a senior data engineer tech advisor for a defense, for NGA. That's a Department of Defense intelligence agency that does imagery. And I guess that's the fun fact about me. And I've never been on a ship. So I've been in the military for a long time, never been on a ship in the Navy. So that's a fun fact.
Very nice.
Yeah, and that's it.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you all for sharing. I think this is very interesting. I want to hear the stories of your childhood, Ruth, with 10 siblings. My one is enough for me. So 10, I would be like, okay. So I love each and every one of you for sharing a little bit about yourself. So what we're going to do is get into the fun part, I would like to say, in our session, where we're going to ask the panelists a few questions that are very interesting and different and unique that might get you guys thinking a little bit, but also maybe a few laughs at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and start with our first question out of the section, and you'll have about 10 minutes to respond, each one of you. So the first one is, which superhero would you be if you could be anyone? We're going to start with Tammy.
Okay, I would be Wonder Woman. I mean,
Good
she's always
choice.
been my favorite. And in fact, my husband's cousin's child, we just went to her birthday party the other day. She lives really close, and we bought her a Wonder Woman outfit and a little bracelets and everything. So I thought that was really cool.
Very nice. Very nice. Jamie?
I would say Captain Marvel. And right now it's because she had the ability to change her uniform in the movie. And I go through a rebellious phase and I have purple and blue hair and I'm an engineer.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Raisa?
Well, I'm not very into superheroes, but I don't know. I maybe Katniss Everdeen from Hunger Games, if she's considered like a superhero.
Yeah, she saved us. She saved a lot of people. Yeah, that's a good choice. Ruth?
I agree with Tammy. I definitely would be Wonder Woman. She's just compassionate, caring. I don't know. She's just a strong personality, and she's immortal too. So it's kind of cool.
Okay. Teresa?
Well, Wonder Woman for me as well. The unique thing about it is that, and for the Navy officers, we have a Wonder Woman buckle that we wear on our uniforms. So
Wow.
we all decided to get it like maybe a year ago, and under it has our emblem for officer, but we under it we have don't be a lady, be a legend, and that's our buckle, because in the, you know, being females in the predominant male industry, we wanted to show our buckles as well. So when we wear our uniforms, so that's what we did. So.
Okay, very nice. Listen, I'm so happy that you all chose the ones you did because that means I get to still be Storm. Nobody chose Storm. I'm so happy. I'm a nerd, so this was like my favorite question you could ask Cameron. I was like, yes. So we're gonna move on to our next section. If you could eat one snack for the rest of your life, what would you choose? And we're gonna reverse the order. Let's start with Teresa.
Chocolate cake. I love chocolate. Anything that's cake or dessert, that's my favorite.
Love it, Ruth.
Cheez-Its. I love cheese, but cheese snacks, salty. Oh, so good.
I could see that. That's a good selection. Raisa.
Well, I will choose Ruffles. I really, really love Ruffles.
Good choice. Maybe a little sour cream onion, maybe something dip, on that be good. Jamie.
Animal crackers.
Animal crackers. Good choice. That was I grew up in the church, so that's all they gave us was those animal crackers and I call it the grandma candy. So that's what we had growing up, so I can relate. Tammy.
Okay, mine would be M&Ms. And that's the way I got through
good choice.
my freshman year of college, was just having my snack buddy was M&Ms.
Very nice. I like M&Ms, and I love when they started having the center be different things depending on what you have. Some have peanuts. I like that. All right. So the next question that we have for you is, if you could listen to one musical artist for the rest of your life, who or what group would that be? Tammy, we're going to start you off.
Okay, well, I'm a big country music fan. So my latest person I've listened to a lot and I really like is Blake Shelton. So if you guys watch The Voice, he's my favorite artist right now.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Jamie.
So I'm a little bit strange in this one. If I have a choice, I'd go towards non-vocal music, instrumental music. So I would probably say John Williams, the composer.
Very nice, very nice. Raisa?
Well, I am a little crazy because saying that, but I think it would be Panic at the Disco. I really love Panic at the Disco.
Okay, very good selection, Ruth.
I'll probably go with Jack Johnson, really smoothing music.
Jack Johnson. Haven't heard of Jack. Okay, give me some things to add to my playlist over here, guys. Teresa.
Mine is Beyonce. I love Beyonce.
You missed our session. We had Run the World playing in the beginning. Yes. Woo!
Yes.
Some of the students would agree that Beyonce has always got to be in rotation. So very good, very nice, very nice. So we're going to move on to our next question. What did you want to be when you were 5? We made a joke about this, myself and Cam, that I wanted to be a princess, and literally I would dress up and tell people at school that was who I was. I was going to be a princess. I just had to wait for my turn at school. It was so funny. They were like, girl, that is a book. That is not real life. So I would love to hear your stories, hopefully a little better than mine. And I'm going to go ahead and start with Teresa.
A doctor. That's what I always wanted to be, a doctor. A pediatrician.
Very nice.
Well, I thought I did anyway.
Oh, well, okay. That I was gonna ask you what made you switch from, but you were 5, but also, yeah,
I love children, but not, a lot of them. Woo, that's a lot.
yeah. Okay, Ruth.
Oh, an astronaut.
Very nice.
I love space. I love the planets. That's always something that when I was a child I wanted to be.
Very nice, very nice. Still no, you're like, no, not anymore. Okay. All right, Raisa.
Well, I love sea animals, so I wanted to be a biologist. I wanted to swim with the sharks and crocodiles and that kind of stuff.
Very nice, very nice. Jamie.
So I wanted to be Indiana Jones when I was 5. And I had an Indiana Jones birthday party, and I was really upset that my dad wouldn't have a pit of snakes.
I bet you're not saying that now. A bit of snakes. Very nice, Tammy.
Okay, well, I love the circus, and so I wanted to be a trapeze artist.
I
Because it
like
was
it.
so much fun.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ready for that level of commitment for myself, but that was a good choice. Very good choice. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our next section of our session. This segment will be basically discussing career-centered questions. Each panelist will have about 30 seconds to respond to the question. Of course, it'll be in the same format of a round table. And we're going to go ahead and start off with our first question. We're asking you, and I would like for you all to share with the group what your specific engineering background is, just refresh their memory. You are a engineer or technologist. Can you give us a 20-second description of what you do? I'm going to start with Tammy.
Okay, so like I said, I'm a computer scientist and aerospace engineer. I put that together to do the software and the testing of aircraft. So we actually, it's kind of like a big video game. We put them into an immersive environment and they can fly around. So we do the software for that. We do the analysis of that, and it helps drive how we build the best airplanes.
Very nice. What would you say are the top 3 day-to-day activities that you do for your job?
So it kind of depends on where we are in some of our projects, but we do a lot of requirements definition. We do a lot of the coding, we do integration and testing, and then we do analysis. So depending on where we are, what phase of what projects, we'll be doing one of those types of things.
Okay, very nice. Jamie?
So my degree is in mechanical engineering, and the quickest way that I can come up with to explain that is to also talk about civil engineers. Civil engineers tend to be known for designing roadways and designing buildings and bridges and things like that, but things that don't move. Mechanical engineers do stuff that moves. At GM, I do a lot of analysis for flow over the vehicle, through the vehicle, things like that.
Okay. And I think you kind of answered that, but just your daily activities, maybe top 3.
Top 3. Well, my headphones cut out briefly, so I'm not sure what was said. The number one thing that happens in my day is I have a lot of meetings. When you get a so-called grown-up job, you end up having lots of meetings. So the first thing is meetings, dealing with emails and questions. When we're able to be in the office, we have an open office plan, so you can go talk to a design release engineer and say, hey, this isn't working, things like that, and then just running analysis.
No true words spoken. Guys, don't rush to be an adult. I promise you. Meetings and emails are in your future. Raisa?
Well, my major is in communications and electronics engineering. I kind of networking engineer. I am in charge of the enterprise architecture, a lot of routing, switching, and wireless stuff. And well, my top 3 day-to-day activities are, well, as Jamie said, meetings, a lot of meetings with customers to understand their needs and how our products can be positioned in their network. And well, then I think it would be trainings, a lot of trainings, because technology is changing so fast. And then I think emails, I have to check a lot of emails daily because of all the follow-up that we deliver to our customers.
Very nice. And Ruth?
So my role might be very different for everyone else. So I'm a project manager for IT. So I don't do a lot of technology. I more manage projects where I have engineers that report to me. And what I normally do as a project manager, what I do is I make sure I manage the project, as in making sure the scope is correct, making sure they're stayed within budget, and also on a timeline that the customer, to satisfy the customer needs. So, but a couple things for my day-to-day, I will probably say a lot of meetings, and I run a lot of them. And also a lot of follow-up on emails, and then we do have a couple of trainings, but most of it's also is making sure I'm in communication with our customers. That's one of the I'm customer facing, so I do a lot of customer calls, making sure customers happy, things like that.
Very nice, very nice. And of course, last but not least, Teresa.
Hi, so I have two jobs. So one of my
Yes.
on the Navy side, I'm an intelligence officer, and then I'm also executive officer, which is second in command of I have a big department. I'm oversee like 70 people, but we do intelligence. So we'll do a lot of analysis for the US Navy as well as to the DoD. So we do a lot of analysis. We produce that information and give it to our commander or our commander-in-chief, which is the president, to make a decision on whatever operation they want to do. That's what I kind of do on my Navy Reserve side of the house. My civilian job, I am a tech advisor for the program officer. So basically what everyone on this panel said, I oversee that. So basically whatever they need approval for acquisitions, for the release, testing, or anything like that, that program manager come to me that overall see everything from a technology standpoint and say, Teresa, is this good enough? Can we redo this testing? Is the system set up right? And so I kind of do that. So 3 things I do, top 3: meetings, and review either code or any releases that needs to be looked at, any architecture that needs to be looked at to make sure that it can be approved, or if it need to be reworked. So that's pretty much what I do.
Very nice, very nice. Busy, but very nice. So very, very good. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next section that we're going to do. So it is going to be around college. So what did you study in college? And kind of how did you prepare for what you do now? Might also be different, like the degree that you pursued and what you obtained. It could have related to your field of engineering, or it could have been something completely different. So I would love to know like what you studied, what you end up graduating with, and then how it applied to your current career. We're going to start off with Tammy.
Okay, so like I said, my degrees were in computer science and then some aerospace engineering. And when I graduated, I actually thought what I wanted to do was actually do more aircraft design from a structure standpoint, and do that using the computers with some of the modeling techniques. That's not what I ended up doing, but it did prepare me for the flight simulation type work that I got into when I hired in to Lockheed Martin, which was General Dynamics back then. So yes, it prepared me. It wasn't exactly what I thought I wanted to do, but it turned out to be great. And I've been doing it for 37 years, so I can't complain at all.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right. Jamie, you're up next.
All right, so I took the long way around to get to my degree. When I graduated high school, I loved music and I wanted to only do music. And so I went to study music at Colorado State, and I did that for 3 years. And then I had a conversation with my parents about passion and realized that I wanted to study acoustics. And so I transferred to another school to do an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering with an acoustics concentration. So it took me 7 years to get to the point where I graduated college. When I left, I wanted to work in aerospace. I had some internships at NASA, and I wanted to work in aerospace. I graduated college in 2009 when the economy went downhill. So there were no jobs. And eventually I made my way out to Detroit and mechanical engineering, and I get to use my acoustics in my job now.
That is so interesting because you fell in love with music first and then you were able to kind of move it into a field that you were really also interested in. That is awesome. That's awesome. Raisa.
Well, at college, I had like different areas of study because, well, I am from Mexico, so here the universities are like that. They prepare you with like acoustics and programmability and networking and like a lot of stuff. As I mentioned before, my degree is in communications and electronics engineering, but I didn't know what I was going to do after college. So I took like a year off and then I joined Cisco in an internship, a sales internship. I was like the technical side on the sales team. And I choose that because I really like delivering presentations. I didn't know how that was going to help me to like grow in the company, but well, it helped me a lot. So I think you don't know like what is going to help you in the future, so you can take a lot of opportunities and then you can see like what works.
That's great advice. Very great advice. I hope you guys are writing that down in that document. Ruth, you can go up next.
Well, I went to what I studied at college is actually accounting. So it's
Wow.
different. We're different career than everyone for than engineering. But when I started accounting, my goal was to become an FBI agent, like a forensic FBI agent. But I realized my last semester of my accounting degree that I did not want to be an accountant anymore. But I did take your electives, which is great. So I took an elective class, system analysis and design. So pretty much project management was like the first 10 weeks, and I fell in love with the course from there because I knew I'm like, oh, I could manage projects. It's more soft skills. And I'm not sure if you'll cover what soft skills are, but soft skills are pretty much your people skills, like emotional intelligence. So it's been very helpful for me, and that's how I got the job I have now, and I love it.
Yes, very nice. And I'm glad you kind of briefly tapped on soft skills. We'll come back to that, so don't let me lose sight of it. Teresa, you can go next.
For me, it is a little different. I would say a long way around it. So I started off as when I graduated from high school, I wanted to join the Navy. I did not join the Navy. I seen a commercial and I seen all white. That was the only thing I ever wanted to do. So I was like, I'm gonna join the Navy because of the white. It just looks so nice, and that's always I wanted to do. But I didn't join the Navy. I went to college. I started off as a county, and I was like, nope, I don't want to do that in my first year. And then I switched to computer science. So that was my passion because I love video games and I wanted to be a game developer, a programmer. So I started off my career as a true programmer. So I learned C++, SQL, and now I still do that today. I do Python, so I still do that today. And then as I went through college, I graduated, I got married early. And then I decided that I wanted to join the Navy, and someone came to me and said, hey, Teresa, I got this new program where you don't have to do boot camp. I didn't do boot camp. So I was like, yes, you got 6 years experience, you got a college degree, you can come to the Navy. This is a program that we have because we're looking for older adults to join the Navy Reserve. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's called advanced pay grade. I joined the Navy Reserve, always wanted the Navy, and it was the best thing that I ever done because it gave me the experience that I needed to even get the job. All the civilian jobs that I had, all the experience I have, I got it from the Navy because what the Navy did for me, being a female, going into technology, systems engineering, at a telecom. I worked for a Sprint and their product development. I was the only female in my whole
Wow.
entire group. So it kind of prepared me for that because I had my leadership skills. I knew everything that most people didn't do because I already done it. Because what the Navy does when you go, even on the reserve side, when you get trained for your job, you learn everything. You learn about 13 weeks, you learn your job, and then you go and actually do the job. So your whole career is doing the job and training, but you train first and then to do the job. And so it gave me the experience. And so when I went to got my job, I just was easy for me. So at that point, I felt that that was a leg up, that something, instead of going from college and going intern, I just went into the Navy Reserve. So it just gave me a leg up, and I had more on the job experience. I didn't have to go. I came in as a higher level, even on my regular job. So that was my experience. So, yeah. So
I
I'm
love it.
in the Navy Reserve. I love it still. That's what I'm still doing.
I love it. I love it. And look, it all came from wanting to wear all white. So you never know how you start off and where you end up and how you can merge the worlds that you have.
Exactly.
I think the key is like that I keep hearing too is just like finding your passions, right? And then kind of connecting the dots from there. When you start out in college, and this is something that the students heard probably a lot yesterday as well, is just that you never know where you're going to end up, right? You just know that you're finding things that you enjoy, and you're kind of just figuring out your path to not having to choose one or the other, but figuring out what works for you. So that's a great response. And I would like to transition us into where you guys are now. So what are your current career goals? I would love to hear that. It sounds like you guys have done some amazing things, are planning to do some amazing things. I know, Jamie, you're getting ready to prepare to do some amazing things with sound. So I would like to start with let's go with Tammy. I keep saying that like the order's going to change, but we'll start with Tammy.
So it's a little bit different for me. I guess I'm closer to retirement maybe than some of the others. As a fellow, the next step is senior fellow. I would like to get to be senior fellow before I retire. But, you know, I'm actually really looking forward to retiring. And as we were talking with some of the people on before we started the session, I'm looking forward to giving back and being more involved with volunteering and organizations like SWE and Girls Inc. and anything that empowers women and gets STEM going. So I guess my career goals are kind of split. Kind of looking towards retirement and seeing if I can finish out as a senior fellow.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I love that you are in that place where you can give back all that's been given to you and what you've learned. So that's a career in and of itself. So love your response. Jamie?
So when I first started at GM, I wanted to be an executive vehicle chief. And they're the person that if a vehicle gets made and everybody loves it, they're the face of that vehicle. If it goes really badly, they're the face of that vehicle. So it could be a very high stress. They make decisions as to what it's going to look like, and they have to have a lot of knowledge. And so that was something that I was always interested in. Lately, the desire has actually been to, it's a position that doesn't exist right now. I call it the director of training. I love giving presentations and helping other engineers be better presenters. What you may not know is that engineers are really not great at presenting and using PowerPoint effectively. And so I want to make a difference and help them grow in that area. So director of engineering would allow me to learn all of the different facets of the company and then also help people become better speakers.
Very nice. Very nice. That's important because a lot of us are nervous to even talk about the fact that we are not so good or good at speaking. And it kind of gives us the highs to have to be chosen to do a presentation, although most of us seem pretty comfortable from the beginning of the session. But it's always good to have a good coach on your shoulder just to kind of help you figure out the tools you need. And that kind of ties back into that soft skills conversation we were talking about. So just know that it's really important to have both. So Raisa, I'm going to go ahead and have you go next.
Well, I want to become an architect, like solutions architect, or maybe team lead of the architecture I'm in. I really, really like technology, and I really like studying a lot. But I also like to have customer facing because, well, I like to talk and I like to present and that kind of stuff. Like as Ruth said, soft skills are very important, and I know that well, my profile is more like a soft skill person,
Mhm.
so I would like to do that.
Very nice. I love that. I love that. Ruth.
So with my career as a project manager, there's different ways you can kind of go with it, but I would kind of want to continue education. So for project managers, there's certifications called the PMP, which is Project Management Professional. So I would like to pursue that in a year and a half, and then also maybe go for my MBA in about 2 years. So, and then as career, because those are a couple career goals for me, I guess educational goals, but as careers, just continue growing as a project manager, sharpen my skills, soft skills, and also build relationships with people. But those are a couple of career goals, and just stay within Cisco for right now, and just move up the chain, I guess you would say.
There we go. So upward mobility is important. Teresa, you're next.
Oh, wow, that's a tough question for me. So I think I'm like Tammy. I plan on retiring probably about 4 or 5 years from now. So I've been doing this a while. In the Navy, I don't know because I'm in the senior rank. So one day, I don't know, maybe I'll become admiral. Who knows? I'm in the path. So we shall see if that ever happens. On my
Sending
regular job,
positivity.
I know, right? I want to be admiral. Okay, I'm just.
There we go. See, we got it. You want to be admiral. You speak that. You okay? You speak it.
Right. And then but in my career right now, I think I'm a tech advisor, so continuing that consultant role to senior companies, startup companies, and then also doing my own. So I think I'm gonna just start doing my own consulting business as a technical consultant. And with that, I probably end up doing in the game industry because that's always been my thing. I love gaming. I currently mentor kids who wants to do game, but I turn it around and say, no, you need to be a game developer because that's the next big, to me, that's the next big thing is game industry. So that's what I've been doing. And so I think I'm just gonna move forward with doing that, is teaching kids about the gaming and partnering with people and developing and teaching them that that industry is wide open right now. Is the industry a lot of people don't talk about. So that's my thing that I'll be doing.
That is a really great point. I think representation is important. And I always stress that because a lot of times as young people, formerly a young person myself, you just don't think certain things are possible because you're like, I love gaming, I love playing video games, but I don't see anyone that looks like me. So it's very powerful to have someone that can inspire you and teach you the ropes so you know how to get into the field. So that's great. Thank you all for answering those questions. So we're going to go ahead and move to our final question. And before we do, I want to encourage you all to get ready, because we're going to be moving on to you all asking them questions live in the chat. So go ahead and start typing your questions now. And then we'll go ahead and move on to that section in just a little bit. But before we do, let's go ahead and get into this question. What interests led you to become an engineer or technologist in your field? And I'm going to go ahead and start with Tammy.
Okay, so once I got past my trapeze artist desire, the next best thing was airplanes. I just loved airplanes, right? How could they fly? It just boggled my mind, and I wanted to figure out how that worked. So that really kind of led me to that engineering path. And,
very nice.
Luckily, I ended up in an aircraft building company, which is
yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's perfect. Very good. Jamie?
So one of the reasons I went into music was because I didn't do so hot at math, and I was scared of math. Whenever I get asked this question or I get to talk about STEM fields with groups of students, I always tell them that if you like to problem solve, you're already an engineer, because that's all engineering is. It's just problem solving. And so it was my desire to problem solve and see how things work that led me to engineering.
Very nice. Very nice. Raisa?
Well, I really don't know. I wanted to be a graphic designer, so I started to go like very deep, like maybe thinking about programming and that kind of stuff. And then, well, I choose the career I have, but I didn't like it until last year because it was the year where we get to choose like our subjects and like well, I really like networking. So I was just like going with the flow and just like it was like a personal challenge for me. And then, well, I ended up liking it.
Very nice. Ruth, you're next.
Well, this is a tough question for me because as a project manager in IT, I do love technology. Before this job, while I was in college, I actually worked for T-Mobile, so another telecommunication company, and I always had an interest in phones, the way they function, the way the specs they have. So I always had some interest in technology. But I know once I got into Cisco, I'm still learning every day a lot of core networking, wireless, a lot of information. So I'm still learning, and I love what I do. But when it comes to interest, I would say just a little bit of everything.
Teresa?
Well, what led me is that when I was in high school, I was taking a computer class, and I think I stayed after for tutoring, and the instructor taught me how to program my own game. So that just led everything from that point on. I was like, oh, I can do this from just typing these words in, and boom, it's just gonna say hello to me. So
Yeah.
that's all it took for me. So yeah.
See, everything's coming full circle from our childhood dream. Well, still not a princess yet, but it's okay. I still believe it internally, but we all have those like interests and passions that we have when we're younger, and they kind of come full circle to building into who we are today. So that's wonderful. Well, thank you all for answering all of those questions. I know there was a ton, and you're not done yet. We have some more live questions that we're getting ready to ask you in just a second. And I'm going to start off with a question from Ayana. Do you have any tips for problem solving, especially during a mental block? And I'll let anyone who wants to take this question go. Anyone?
All right, I'll take that.
There we go. Okay. All right. So we'll go with Jamie. Go, Jamie.
One of the things that we like to do, I say I'm part of a group called iHub that's innovation, and one of the things that we talk about in that group is yes anding. So if you're stuck in a problem, you can yes and it. And the point of yes anding is to get bigger and bolder and crazier and just go all the way outside of what is the realm of possibility, because then the solution might actually be a lot simpler.
Very nice. Tammy, did you want to also chime in on that one?
Yeah, I will say we do that a lot, and probably the biggest thing when you're trying to solve a problem is really stepping back and asking yourself, really, what is the problem? And digging into whoever is asking you to solve that problem, whether it be a customer, what are they really needing? And really having that dialogue with them. And the more you discuss it, sometimes you find out that what they asked you for isn't what they really want. So understanding and doing that critical thinking up front before you try to solve the problem, a lot of times can help.
Very good. Very good response. All right. So we are going to move on to the next question. So in designing cars, what aspects do you get to design? And do you need a master's degree to do the design part? There we go, Jamie. That's you again.
So I'll answer the second question first. You do not need a master's degree to do the design part. So there's a bunch of different positions. There's a designer that's typically people that go to art school and do those kinds of things. And they're the ones that make the clay models that you always see. And then you have designers that build the computer aided design. They work on the computer and they build it through that way. And those are also typically not usually engineers. Then you have design release engineers that are kind of the program manager of that part. And they tend to have some sort of engineering degree. And so, no, you don't need a master's degree for that. The first part of the question, any part. I have worked on the induction and exhaust and then full vehicle thermal, which is the whole vehicle. So it just depends on where you want to go. There's somebody that does everything.
Okay, very nice. And I'm just going to, before I go into my next question, I just want to give a disclaimer. We are a little bit over time tonight, which is good because it means we had some wonderful answers and some wonderful questions in the chat. If anybody has to go, I totally understand. Timing is everything. So if you want to drop off, you have the opportunity to do that now. And I would love if you guys could stick around with us for a little bit longer as we prepare to answer the rest of the questions in the chat. So I just want to give that as an FYI to the participants. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our next question. So we have a question here where this is directed to Teresa. What kind of cool careers in STEM are available for females in the Navy?
Oh, wow. There's so many. We got electrical engineer, we got nuclear. I mean, you pretty much can do anything that STEM has for you, especially even on the engineering side of the house, science, when it comes to medical, you can be a nurse, a doctor, biochemist. I mean, anything that's related to STEM, Navy has. Right now, one of the coolest things that I think they just started is cybersecurity, space, learning about space. Even on the technical side of the house, you learn about space satellites and those type of things. And then also esports. One of the things that not only, that's what they're doing, esports, they have a program where you can come in and be a game developer. They'll teach you how to be that, but you'll be an esports. So those drones, artificial intelligence, machine learning, that is what the Navy today doing from a cool side of the house. So they have those type of things. So.
They got a cool side, guys. It's a cool side of the house. All right. So we're going to move on to our next question. And I think this is going to be one that it would be really interesting. What is a side hobby or project you enjoy doing? So I'm pretty sure all of you all have all of those, most of your brain is committed to the jobs and roles that you hold, but there might be some other things you have going on. So I'll let you guys answer that question. Let's start with Raisa. We'll do you first.
Yes, well, I am part of a giving back organization within Cisco, and well, we organize like events for girls to get to know the company and get to know the programs we have for girls in STEM and that kind of stuff. So I manage also that social media account. I really, really love social media. So I love graphic design, as I said. So that is my hobby, and I really like to see like more girls involving in STEM careers.
Very nice. Anybody else care to respond? I want to jump in here.
I have, for me, I teach, like I do STEMs for girls, but I also teach video games development,
Yes.
mentorship with different programs, women in tech. I do it on the Navy side of the house as well. Anyone that want to learn how to program it. I teach military spouses who wants to get into technology. I do that. And then also I'm a Zumba instructor.
Oh! Nice. Look at that. Maybe I need to get my quarantine body together with some Zumba, huh?
I do that too, online.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Anybody else want to respond before I move on to the next question? Jamie, I think you wanted to.
One of the coolest hobbies, I haven't done I don't do it recently, but I learned how to do blacksmithing at a historic park back in Colorado. That was a lot of fun.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and move on to our next question. So I do have one here that says, what was the biggest success in your career so far, and what did you learn from that experience? Ruth, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
I guess my career goal or personal goal is I think it's graduating college. First American in my family to graduate college. So that's a big deal, especially coming from a minority family, Latinos. So that's a big accomplishment for myself, especially coming from 1 out of 10 kids. High chances of even graduating was pretty small. So that's probably one of the biggest careers. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. Tammy?
Yeah, I'd say mine, since I've been here so long, but the F-35 program, if the girls don't know what that is, that's one of our aircraft that we build for the Defense Department. And it was a long process. It takes multiple years. So I worked on that probably for almost 10 years. And when we finally won the production contract for that, that was awesome. It's actually the largest defense contract ever awarded. So being a part of that and providing the flight simulators that provided the government a way to fly the airplane before we ever even built it, that was probably the coolest.
Very good. I like that. All right, Teresa?
Ooh, this is the hard one.
Yeah.
For me is probably the biggest successes is that when I joined the Navy, I started off as enlisted and then I switched to being an officer and being the only one in my family that have done that to today, as of today, getting as far as I have. So I think that's the biggest success that I would say I had.
Yeah, and again, you getting a clap from me because I love hearing that. That is so awesome. Very awesome. Raisa?
Well, I think that it was like finding a role that like fits me. I thought when I graduated college that I was going to hear all the customers like yell at me because everything wasn't working. So I wanted something more like convincing them about our products or something like that. So I was very happy when I get this role because I really love what I'm doing.
Very nice. And it's good to know that it's important to love what you're doing and that you are doing that. Jamie?
So I think the coolest thing that I've gotten to do, so there's, I think it's a model year 2020 heavy duty Silverado and GMC with their biggest engine. It has a hood scoop on the front. I helped design that. I did analysis for it. I'm on a patent for it, but I helped design that. So that's my biggest accomplishment.
Man, if I could just do these in a row, I just would just give you all. Yes, that is awesome. Very awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing that. Those are great successes. I love that. So we're gonna, yeah, you guys are just like doing incredible things. You just got me taken aback a little bit. Very good. So we're going to go ahead and move on to one other question that we got. And it's asking, what would you say engineering or STEM jobs or in general would compare to a typical office job? So what would be the difference between a typical office job and what you do in your fields of engineering and or STEM job?
I normally tell individuals that is really no difference because we're all in offices and it all goes together. It's no different than any other company. Every company has technology. It's just where you sit in that company. So there's really no difference. I mean, we all have desks. Some offices have cubes, some offices do not, like Google, Facebook, it's more open. So it depends on what company you go to, but overall, everybody is the same. It doesn't matter. I mean, it looks the same. It's the same. It depends on what role you have. I mean, the only difference is that as an engineer that we have is that we have the cool tools. We design those tools. We put, we product developers or project management, IT to develop tools that you see today with the handsets, with the, the airplanes and stuff like that. That's the only difference that between a regular, if I'm assuming meaning like an admin or something like that, but those admin people help us, they keep us on track. So there's no difference, but getting into a technology company, you will see all that and you can embrace all that. And even if you're in a regular job and you want to go to IT, then you can move over that. So that's what I have to say on that.
I love that. I love that. Any other comments from the panel?
So I will say, yes, there are times in my career where it feels like I'm just in an office job all the time. You're on the phone, you're in conference rooms. But I will say I've also had lots of times in my career where my office was a lab. We had computer equipment, or probably one of the coolest things is when I first started in this industry, I sat in an aircraft hangar, and we had hardware in the loop equipment around us that we were testing, and then we were installing it on the airplane to go fly, and we spent our day in that environment. So it ebbs and flows, but I think with engineering, you have a little bit more opportunity to do more of that hands-on, get into the labs, get into actually touching things than maybe a regular office job.
Okay, very good, very good. And great point. Hands-on makes a difference. I always say dynamic always feels so much better than just having to sit at a desk all day. So I totally get that. Jamie?
I just wanted to say the biggest difference I see between engineering and some regular office jobs is that there are times in engineering where sentences are said in acronyms. They are not real words. They are just full of acronyms.
Really?
That
is interesting.
That.
Wow.
That is so true.
This is me like Googling.
You don't like writing papers.
You get straight to the point and everybody understands. I'll be sitting there like, what does this mean? Very nice. Anybody else want to contribute before we move on? All right, so we're going to go ahead and make this our last question, and I'm going to kind of combine the last few questions that I've seen and make them just kind of like a master question for you all to close with. So as these are high school students who are pursuing career fields, what piece of advice would you leave with them as they continue to prepare for a STEM career for themselves? Like, what would be your best piece of advice to leave them with?
Can I start? Or
Sure,
okay.
Lisa.
Well, I think that something that I understand now, because in high school I didn't understand that, is that all of your strengths, all of your soft skills, all of your hard skills, everything counts. Everything makes you more professional. And even if you think that you won't maybe use something again, you will. And also networking, not in the technical side, but networking with people actually is really, really important. You have to look for mentors and look for people that want to help you or maybe guide you, and maybe having strong relationships with your team, with your direct team, because you will be working with your team very closely, and it's good to have a good relationship because you learn a lot from everyone.
All right, very good.
I'll jump in. I mean, probably to me, the biggest thing is, don't be afraid of hard work. It does take some hard work to get these engineering degrees or, science degrees, college degrees, but you will always have times where maybe you don't get the best grades, or maybe you're challenged on something, but don't give up. Those are the classes that sometimes you remember back and you learn the most in because you worked harder at, because it was harder for you to achieve. Just don't be afraid of the hard work. It's got to be put in.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And it's so true. I always say sometimes if you never make a mistake, you never really learn how to fix it if you get it perfect every time. So great advice. Teresa?
I would say that I would say be who you are, be authentic. Don't change who you are. Find a passion that you love. Um, and embrace who you are, and don't doubt yourself, because a lot of times those, when you're young and you're like, oh, I'm not sure or anything like that, but don't doubt yourself. You have a passion, you want to go in STEM, whether it be a doctor, some type of engineer or anything like that. Go for what you want to do in your own life, because nobody can live that life but yourself.
Best piece of advice. That is actually a quote from Spotlight I did not too long ago. I said, the higher up you go, the more authentic you should be. So always stay you. That's so funny because you always hear people, I don't know if you guys still do yearbooks, but that's always like the quote, stay you, don't change. So it's really true. Stay you, don't change. Ruth?
For me, I guess the biggest advice I would give for if I was back in high school is don't compare yourself to other people, because like you have that pressure of like, I'm graduating, I need to know what I need to do, but no, everyone has a different path. Stay on your journey, you'll find your passion, and then you'll continue going on, and don't doubt yourself, as Teresa said. So especially right now, everyone, even with social media, it was comparison, right? So yeah, don't compare yourself to anyone, be on your journey and find your true self.
Love it. Well, thank you all for asking these phenomenal questions. I think we got some really great responses from our panelists. Thank you all for joining us today, but I think we have reached the end of our time together. Unfortunately, we went over time, and I do apologize for that, but I want to give you a few items before you guys go. The first is just a big thank you to each and every one of our panelists for participating in this session this evening. We really try to make sure that we get a little bit of your experience and a little bit of who you are. You guys did an amazing job of combining both of those things. And I need to actually do one more thing, because somebody just let me know that I forgot one person, and I'm so sorry. Jamie, did you get to give your feedback? You
No
guys,
problem.
let's go back in reverse. Don't go yet. Let's go. Let's make sure Jamie gets her opportunity to shine. My bad. Sorry. Go ahead.
I agree with what everything that everyone else said. The only thing I will add is, if you don't know what you want to do yet, that's totally okay. If you go to college and you have to take a couple general ed classes to kind of figure it out, that's okay. If you know what you want to do, that's okay too. I met a lot of people that got a degree in something and work in a job that's not related to their degree. So you got a whole life ahead of you.
Yes. Yes, very much so. And that is a word to leave you all with. So thank you so much. I apologize for somehow skipping you. I do apologize for that. But I will definitely say that is a great note to leave off on for each of our students. So keep that in mind. So again, I'll try that one more time. So we have officially reached the end of our time together. I want to thank each and every one of you all for joining us tonight for the SHLA Live Learning Opportunity Exploring Career Pathways with our SWE partners. Again, another very, very special thank you to our sponsors, Lockheed Martin Corporation, Cisco Systems, Motorola Solutions, and General Motors, all of which we have a little piece here. So we want to make sure that you all have a couple items left to take away from this session. So before I forget, make sure that you all email us at swenext@swe.org if you have any questions, or post them in the SHLA classroom. Again, an on-demand version of this session will be made available after the program's completion. And of course, we have that note-taking document available for each session within the SHLA classroom. So make sure you take a look there. Of course, we want to give you just a quick reminder of what's coming up here in the future. So we have leading from the passenger seat, practicing leadership skills at every level with Lanita hosting. SWE Next Connect will be following right after that with leadership skills for college. Coming up as our final week of events, we will have networking with fellow Sheilas, Reflect and Recap. And then right after that, we'll take a small little break. Then we'll come back to you all again November 12th to finish out our program with our Sheila graduation ceremony. And of course, for the SWE Next SWE 20 award winners, you guys will also have a pizza party as well. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you all for participating in this program tonight. A very, 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 very special thank you to all of our panelists. And I am going to see you all. I'm going to see you all very, very soon tomorrow. You all have a great evening. Oh, before I forget, whoever's left, don't forget the music playlist, guys. You have access to that. So put your favorite songs in there as well.